We're back in downtown Mankato for the last time on the night, the last time on the weekends, but it is somewhat reminiscent of a night ago, Dan. 5-1 score both nights. No one came into this weekend thinking the Mavericks were going to be able to put 10 up on the board.
I know one guy who didn't for sure is C.J. Mott. He only allows 2 goals a game all season long, and he gave up 10 this weekend, which is just something unheard of for. This is an All-American type goaltender. So he really saw a lot of pucks this weekend, saw a lot of Mavericks in his face, and when he saw shots, he made the saves, but he didn't see a lot of these because his defense in front was not helping him out very much.
He is an All-American type of goaltender, but if anybody in the country still has any doubts whatsoever that this is a really good Maverick hockey team, I think this weekend took care of that.
Well, they shouldn't. I mean, for the better part of 2 months now, this team has been nearly unbeatable. Doesn't matter who they're playing, they've been nearly unbeatable. So this team is playing exceptionally well right now. It's getting late January. There's a lot of hockey left to be played, but if they're playing like this at the end of February and into March, there's a chance they could make a very long run. We talked about it last year. This team could make a long run through the playoffs, but we got to take it one step at a time.
All right, let's take a look at some of the goals and the highlights from tonight's contest. And the Mavericks would get things going early. Max Gady, the guy who's had a great senior campaign, pays off here with a nice goal.
Yeah, that was just a beautiful play, and coming up here just after this, you're going to see the Bryce Gervais show all of a sudden. A couple of power play opportunities for Bryce Gervais. Get a look at the first one here.
That's that feed from Leitner.
Man, he's so quick. Those two are so good together, and you saw it there. Mike Casey's talking about it that they're really good together. Then Shemp, of course, just has to put one in the net somewhere along the way. That's shorthanded. Here's another one. A great look across the ice over to Gervais. That makes it 3-1, and the Mavericks have a 2-goal lead once again.
Both goals by Gervais and that Shemp goal, that came early in the second on that 5-minute major the Mavericks enjoyed. There you see Hunterbrinker out in front, able to redirect a shot from Fogwith early in the third. That made it 4-1, a big goal at the time.
Certainly was, and then McClure, very reminiscent of the goal from last night from Leitner. He is able to backhand it in, just wait for C.J. Mott to make the move, and he tucks it away for the 5th goal of the night. 35-18 shots on goal for the Mavericks. They're 2 of 6 on the power play. FSU 0 for 2 on the night. Penalty minutes got a little closer at the end there, 39-23, but face-offs, Mavericks dominated face-offs, which is time of possession, which is puck control, and a couple of 5-1 victories, just exactly what the doctor ordered when the Mavericks came home this weekend.
And talk about a guy who had a big weekend as we'll move on to our J. Beal Real Estate Player of the Game. You heard about the special bond that Leitner and Gervais had, and Gervais a couple times tonight benefited from some great looks, and that second goal by Gervais was big. He indeed is our JBL Real Estate Player of the Game.
Well, he's phenomenal. He's got great hands, but as you mentioned, Leitner and Gervais together are just something special. They both seem to know where they are on the ice all the time, and they pass it so well, and they find each other open. And boy, Matt Leitner is a special player. Bryce Gervais, a very special player.
So again, Bryce Gervais is our J. Beal Real Estate Player of the Game. Don't know if we have any other highlights of those. It looks like we are going to take maybe a couple more looks at him again. And you can see again.
Leitner to Gervais from behind the net in the power play there. That was the second goal of the game, and that was a good one. I don't know if there's a goaltender in the country who has a chance on that one. And then here, a tough angle for Gervais for his second goal of the night, and that was a real backbreaker for the Bulldogs.
We encourage you to contact Jim Beal at 507-381-4961. And J. Beal Real Estate Group does the little things that make a big difference. And Gervais, Leitner, guys you need to count on for those big scoring opportunities. They came through, but again, getting Hunterbrinker in tonight, Gady getting some. This team is becoming even more dangerous than they could be, which is a little bit of a shock to everybody in the WCHA.
The fourth line scored the first goal of the game. That helps so much. That's just tremendous. Your fourth line, you're hoping for energy. You're hoping for them to cause trouble, make the other team have to defend the entire sheet of ice. And what happened is they put one in the back of the net. And boy, that makes it just so much better for you because you assume that your first line, your second line are going to score some goals. Well, that just helps out dramatically.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the out-of-town scores from around the WCHA and collegiate hockey tonight before we close out our broadcast. And we know, again, the Mavericks with the win tonight, they need to keep pace because it looks like the Northern Michigan team that is in as a win. Michigan Tech in second place, a big win tonight over Alabama Huntsville. So I know you got some other scores here, but the Mavericks again keeping up their dance.
Well, and Bowling Green takes a tie out of the weekend rather than a victory. So they have a loss and tie. They only get 1 point for the weekend. The North Dakota and Nebraska tied at 3 in a huge series this weekend after UNO won last night in overtime. UMD leads Denver 3-1. St. Cloud over Colorado College 2-1 in the third. And some other scores from around the country. Gophers and Wisconsin tie at 4. Colgate and Cornell tie at 2. UMass Lowell over Merrimack. Quinnipiac and Yale tying. Lots of ties tonight.
Yeah, all this kissing the sister
Miami,
kind
Western
of
Michigan, and Penn State with a win over Vermont tonight. Penn State maybe cropping into the top 15 in the nation after a nice weekend for them.
No tie here, anything but a tie. It was just a convincing win tonight, convincing last night. And again, the Mavericks both wins, 5-1 in the books. And the Mavericks, again, we'll see what the standings, the rankings are going to be at on Tuesday when they come out. But Mavericks, we know they're going to be first or second in the country, and they come back here. And now, to some degree, the challenge is you're playing a team that's not necessarily Ferris State in the standings.
Right.
Nonetheless, you still need to keep up that level of intensity.
Certainly, the Mavericks have to come out and play real hard this week. Mike Hastings will work them through the week to make sure that they're ready, understanding that they're going to be a marked team coming in for the rest of the games this year, and you've got a team coming in that you should take care of next weekend. But as anybody in college hockey can tell you, anybody can jump up and bite anybody on any given weekend. We've seen it. The number 1 team in the nation has gotten beat the following week a number of times this year. So if you're 1 or if you're 2, whoever you're playing, you still got to come out and do your job.
And now one last thought, and we've never said this in Mankato before. You're coming in, you're top rank in the pairwise. You need to keep winning because you want to not only get in the national tournament, which you talked about for years, you want to have that number 1 seed in one of these regions.
But that would be certainly the best situation because you're playing the 4.
Yeah.
And being the 1 against the 4 is a lot better than the 2 versus the 3. So you'll absolutely take it, but there's a long way to go before then. So you don't want to get ahead of yourself. But this team is playing exceptionally well right now. Nobody's playing better than them anywhere in the country. And for fans who came this weekend, the 9,000 that were in the stadium for these 2 games for the arena, they got to see a pretty good hockey team show what they can do for 2 games.
And better yet, we get to do it again next weekend. So this guy here, Dan McCargan, myself, Don Westfall, and the rest of the students from Bethany Lutheran College. We'll be back Friday night. 7 o'clock is the pregame show. 7:07 the face-off from downtown Mankato. It's Minnesota State and Alaska Anchorage next weekend. But again, tonight the Mavericks close out the sweep, knocking off Ferris State by the score of 5-1. Thank you for watching us, and we'll see you next Friday night.